days ago, the Reserve Bank of India permitted a proposal by Centrum Financial Services to take over the troubled PMC Bank. Centrum, along with BharatPe, is poised to form a small finance bank to run the cooperative bank under an RBI-supervised amalgamation scheme that will be announced soon. The RBI action ends nearly 2 years of uncertainty for PMC Bank depositors who have been anxiously waiting to get their money back. So here's a quick recap of what transpired. In September 2019, RBI imposed restrictions on PMC Bank after discovering financial irregularities, including underreporting of bad loans. Around 9 lakh depositors were bound by curbs on withdrawing money. After a barrage of bad news, the RBI orchestrated resolution finally spells good news for depositors. Yet, it begs the question, how did things come to such a pass? Could the PMC Bank crisis have been averted? Evidence unearthed by Money Control shows there were enough alarm bells that could have prevented the troubles that PMC Bank sank into. 8 years before the PMC Bank scam became public, RBI was warned about the shenanigans at the bank. On 28 January 2011, the whistleblower, an employee of PMC Bank, sent a letter to A. Udgata, Chief General Manager in charge of RBI's Urban Banks Department. The letter raised a raft of alarming violations of rules and especially highlighted PMC Bank's dealings with two entities, HDIL and DHFL. PMC Bank manipulated its net time and demand liabilities using HDIL according to the letter. The whistleblower also warned about gross underreporting of NPAs, evergreening of loans, fudging of loan accounts and entry of fake deposits. As against the actual NPAs of 9%, the bank showed NPAs of 1%. Many large borrowers were related to the directors of the bank, and bank executives were asked to manipulate the accounts to facilitate loan sanction by creating fresh proprietary firms and issuing new loans to these companies to close earlier NPAs. Fake deposits were shown to inflate the loan book, the whistleblower complained. The central bank acknowledged receipt of the letter. It then sent a letter on March 7, 2011 to the CEO of PMC Bank asking him to investigate the issue and give a response to the regulator. The whistleblower essentially alerted about the abject collapse of corporate governance and rampant fraudulent practices. Those wrongdoings would grow into a full-blown scam because the person assigned to investigate was allegedly one of the protagonists of the scam. The RBI had another crack at halting PMC's descent into financial ruin. In 2018 to 2019, statutory auditors handed PMC Bank an audit classification A rating, which is the highest rating for such exercises, signaling things are kosher at financial institution. This rating was given at a time when a massive fraud was gnawing at the bank and its balance sheet was fudged with large-scale underreporting of NPAs. PMC Bank's auditors not only failed to unearth gross financial irregularities in the bank for years, but continued to give top audit classification to the bank. If the auditors had done their job, depositors could have been warned of the impending crisis.
Soon after the whistleblower's letter reached the RBI, L.M. Kamble, who served in the RBI's Department of Urban Cooperative Bank Supervision, joined PMC Bank as General Manager 2 months after he retired in March 2012.
According to Section 37A of the RBI Staff Regulations, no officer of the central bank can take up private employment after exit either by resignation or retirement. To do so, an officer requires the permission of the RBI governor. Kamble told Money Control that he received all necessary permission from the RBI to join PMC Bank. Kamble said that the PMC Bank scam was due to the creation of fake FDs after the credit exposure limit to HDIL was hit, adding that under rules for loan against FDs, there is no limit. Nobody was aware of the scam.